Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is Monster Hunter Rise. We've got something slightly different for you. We've all been enjoying the game and we've all been having fun. But me and who's here with me?
It's your boy Paradise. I'm back.
We obviously do have some gripes with the game, so we're going to talk through some of the issues that we've been having. Even though I've played like 300 hours in the game, there are definitely things that can be fixed. I don't know. I just feel like I need to vocalize some of my issues that I've been having and kind of just vent about some of the things that I just don't understand why they are the way that they are in game and why things didn't necessarily change or be adapted or be made better. This is that video. It doesn't mean that we hate the game. I'm enjoying the game. I am content with what it is at the moment.
This is my favorite Monster Hunter like handheld game. I think this is your favorite Monster Hunter of all the Monster Hunters as well. This is we don't hate the game, guys. We've played literally over 300 hours each. It's just, you know, the world situation as it is, and the fact that there's a few things in the game that they could just be a bit better right now. And when you play a game as much as we do, you see the flaws in it as much as you see the things you love, right?
Yeah, so, even if you don't want to see the flaws,
there's a few things to talk about.
Even if you don't want to see the flaws, everyone's telling you what the flaws are anyway, because so you know what like the general consensus is for this stuff anyway. And I feel like sometimes people feel like we're not necessarily feeling the same things as them because we're playing the game, we're putting out content, and we're enjoying it. Like we're just basically like shilling for the game, but we do have issues with the game, and we see that they are like there's some stupid stuff going on, and it may not necessarily be as like in that way as good as the old games, but we're still happy to play the game, and this is the most I had to play a Monster Hunter, regardless of if we had to make videos on it like at all.
If we hated the game, we wouldn't do freaking daily videos for literally weeks now.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Just that, you know, there are some things that really could be and in some ways need to be improved just to make the game better over, you know, across a long playtime like we have.
Yeah. Two things to precursor before we get into this, because I know they're going to be talking points. People are going to say, this is just the base game, it's not the G-Rank version. Fair enough. Doesn't mean that the rule can't change, and things can't change, and things adapt to what the audience kind of expects now. And the other one is that there's an update coming, so things will change based on the update coming up. But this
things
is
are
the
changing
game
soon.
Yeah, but this is the game that we have now. And this is what people are experiencing. So even though we're happy to play through it and there's ways to enjoy it, and we can go make builds and do whatever and find our own fun, the actual reality is this is the product that we were given on day one. Okay? All right. Paradise. Start us off. What are you saying? What is the number one thing that jars your brain about this game?
Well, there's a few things, but the first one I want to talk about is talismans.
Yeah.
You guys, even you guys in the comments, you've seen my talisman videos. You should know how bad my luck is in this game for talisman.
It's not even luck, though. Well, that's the maddest thing. I didn't realize it wasn't luck. I didn't realize it wasn't luck. I thought it was our... Wait, am I understanding this correctly, right? Because I watched somebody else's video, and the talismans are just in an order.
This is the thing. We can't say definitively because I don't know how the game's coded. We can just say what other people are saying and all of that kind of stuff. And it seems like, one, there's this bug that's happening where people are stuck in a loop, right? And that's if you have that, your game is ruined until they fix it, basically. Because like the talismans are a core part of the builds, which I'll get into. That's a big part of my gripe with talismans as well, by the way. The second thing is, there seems to be some kind of like talisman table where like every talisman you get is like already been planned out ahead of time based on your save game, apparently. Which means if you're in a bad part of the table, you have to wait thousands of talismans to get to a good one. So it's not like it's random, it's more that it's been predefined. Apparently, I don't know if that's true. That's what people are saying.
No, you can't get that talisman. Like I think you physically can't get the good talisman that somebody else will have because you're in a different table. That's what people are saying. There might be some like room for error. There's obviously room for error because people don't know how to properly test like an RNG system, pseudo RNG system like this, because there's different stuff in different tables just for like Rebirth and Wisp and stuff. From what I understand, and maybe I'm getting this completely wrong, sorry, I apologize if I am getting this wrong in advance, but the fact is, like, there's definitely stuff that I would want to aim for in a game, and if you can get that gem, and there wasn't any possibility, even though if it was super hard for me to get just because of probability, there isn't. If that possibility was been removed, I'll be super jarred.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why I don't have my good weakness exploit 2 talisman with a 2 slot, even though I've literally opened thousands of talismans. And I was opening hundreds of talismans before the videos as well.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not the case, but there's some convincing testing that people are doing in the community that is saying that is the case. But just to put that all to the side a sec, that's a big elephant in the room, right? But even so, in World, and people hated the decoration farm in World because it was so hard to get attack decorations and the other good ones. But in Rise, because talismans can roll with like two levels of 2 different skills and a bunch of slots, your whole build is like ruined if you don't have like a certain talisman that complements it, in which case you have to use all the armor pieces that have it, which is like a significantly weaker version. So your point of failure in a build in World, where you had the decoration farm, was like, you play the game, you slowly get the talismans one by one, and you can piece it into your build, right? And like, every time you get one, it's like, I'm one step closer to being finished. Whereas in this, it's like, you need to roll the exact talisman to get, like, the good version of that build, or you have, like, the budget version, and you use the armor pieces. So you have this, like, huge RNG point of failure where you either get the talisman or you don't. Or even if you get, like, a half-baked version of it, it's still, like, not quite as good as the full version.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're ruined, because it doesn't make... It makes a difference, but not, like, a sizable difference like the rest of your build does. But for like players like us that want to aim for the best and kind of min-max stuff, it's also a psychological thing. Like that 10% might not make a difference in every hunt that you go into, but knowing that you don't have that just makes you kind of not want to play the game because you're not getting the best stuff. Like I feel like you kind of, whenever you're playing a game that's got armor or a min-max system, you kind of want to aim for getting the best stuff. It's fair enough if that's not really your jam and you are happy with, or you're okay with just going in with any armor set, or just out there to kind of just hunt the monster in anything or any build, or just have a bit of fun. But there are players that out there that kind of want to have the best armor and want to have the best builds, and I'm definitely one of those players that want to have the best builds and try out the thing that does the most damage and see how it does and get those faster times in hunts as well.
It's not game breaking, like you don't need the talismans, but it does, if you're going for the perfect build, the min-max build, which is like how I like to play. If I want the best version of the build I can get, right? It ruins it. You have to use different armor pieces. It's not game breaking. However, the other side of it is as well, it puts you on an unfair advantage against other people, especially if you start looking into like speed running. There's no way that you can compete with someone who has a perfectly god rolled talisman because they have like 2 extra points in like spread up or ammo type up that you can't get on your build without using the armor pieces, which means you're losing like high percentages of damage, right? So although that's only a portion of people, it's kind of like, oh man, that's kind of lame. So I preferred the decoration farm, even though it was still excruciating. At least it like leveled out the more that you played, you know. Whereas this, it's like
for me,
like, good luck.
It's basically the same thing. Like it's like, I wouldn't say okay. Obviously, 1 point of failure is different from like multiple points of failure because people had a hard time in World when they were trying to get their decorations and that on the go. But
you pieced it together as you went.
I understand that. But like, for me, I don't feel like either system works all that great at the moment.
They're not ideal.
But again, it might be fixed in an update. They might take on board people's feedback, or maybe we're not seeing the whole thing. The other thing is like, World really came alive after HR. After HR unlocking, you kind of got to HR 50 and they started unlocking like more quests for you to do. We haven't even got there, so maybe there's like some really cool stuff coming in the update that probably releases before the end of the month, and that's stuff that we can get excited for. But for now, just allow it. That's English slang for just like what is just stop it, like just stop doing that. But
I still love the game. I still
Yeah.
roll my talismans. I still get excited when I see the red in the talisman. You know,
I think that's what makes it.
What if they
disappointing, right?
added rerolls? If they
Yeah.
added rerolls on talismans, oh my
That'd be
gosh,
cool.
that would be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to personally talk about was, and kind of ties into it, was like the end game, because right now it's either realistically just do some rampages or do Narwa so that you can roll some talismans at the moment. Again, this could be one of those things where we don't have HR on lock, so we don't know what's going on there, but farming Narwa is cool and all, but I feel like having more Elder Dragons to fight and just tough monsters, it doesn't need to be G rank level. Oh, that would have been acceptable, but like just some, I don't know, something that matches your HR7 rank, basically. That's
Yeah,
all I
exactly.
wanted. Yeah.
Like, let us fight Apex Mitsune,
Yeah.
but not in a rampage, you know, or something like that. And that sort of goes into another one, which is like the diversity of monsters in Rise. Like, there is a lot of different monsters in Rise, which I love, and I love the design of Lagombi is my favorite monster, even though Lagombi is kind of
He loves a little
trash.
Lagombi.
I love Lagombi. He's rolling around, he's sliding. I love him. I think he's so fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of the monsters are sort of a bit samey and therefore forgettable. Like, if you look at Tetranodon and Lagombi, they're both big chunky boys. They're kind of similar. If you look at Roggy and I can't remember, Baggy and Roggy, they're basically the same but different statuses. You know, so there's a lot of like similar ones, even though they're different. And even to the point of the Elder Dragons, right? Like you just said, Narwa and the other one, they're like the same thing, although one's a rampage and one isn't. Whereas if you go to Launch World. And I know a lot of people didn't like World, but Launch World, you had Kashala, Teostra, Nergigante. You had differences to farm when it came to that. So again, it's launch Rise.
Yeah,
Like, it's
you have
not
the
a huge
subspecies
complaint.
as well, right? You had like
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Apex? No, not Apex.
was,
Azure,
Tempered.
Azure, Rathalos, Tempered, Azure, Rathalos, and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Again, like you've said it. Just to reiterate, like it's launch Rise. Like we get that. There's updates coming. There's new monsters. We're excited. We know. It's just like we've been playing the game for a while now. You know, it's like how many times can you do Narwa and realistically like feel excited? You know, whereas. You know, it would be cool to have those other Elder Dragons and stuff like that. So
yeah, the first few months,
that is definitely one point.
The first few months of this game are going to be super important for like make or break. If these content drops aren't like substantial enough to keep people interested in it, like I don't know what's going to happen to the game realistically, because we need a bunch of monsters in this update that's dropping on Friday to keep me sustained for like that month, and we need some really cool stuff to drop as well. Like it can't just be, oh, we've got some monsters to hunt and their armor skills are just like dog. Like it needs to be some really cool stuff that I want to aim for and really get. I don't know what you guys would like to see on the armor skills or monsters that you would like to see drop in this update, because we obviously know that we're getting Chameleos, which is a good fight as well, because we haven't seen Chameleos in a while, and we're getting Apex Rathalos, right? Because we've seen
Wrath, yeah.
So we've seen that in the trailer, which is cool. If they bring a bunch of the monsters out of the rampage and just dump them into the game as well to kind of
Hunt normally.
yeah,
For
hunt
about-
normally and spruce up the
Imagine
roster, that'd be cool, man.
Apex Mitsune, Apex Rathian,
Yeah.
like the blight spots that Rathian puts down, the freaking bubbles of Apex Mitsune, like they destroy you if you're not careful. That in a regular hunt would be actually exciting and challenging, right? Because you don't have all these like crazy damaging defenses and stuff.
Yeah.
Of the rampage, so that would be so sick.
Yeah. Don't worry about that, guys. That's my bell. It always happens in the middle of these discussions. But outside of that, like if the Apex is coming and like Apex Rathalos comes in and he doesn't have his own armor set, that's also going to be disappointing as well, right? So we
That
need
is
to make sure
well. That takes us to the next thing to talk about.
yeah.
The armor sets, like they completely changed the way that the armors worked. In that they have an armor set which is like you get resistances, like +1 resistance for each piece. You guys know how I feel about resistances. I want 2-piece bonuses. I want 3-piece bonuses, 5-piece bonuses. You know, I guess the end game armor sets have them, but they don't seem to really do very much. I don't even really know what they do. You know, the fortune buff. Maybe it's like maybe it's like good luck or something. I'm not sure. But I miss being like, oh, I want to use 3 pieces of this, so I get like true razor sharp, and 2 pieces of this. So some loud banging going on. Sorry about this.
We're being
and
attacked.
2 pieces. We are. I'm being besieged.
Yeah.
And 2 pieces of something else to get like another good set bonus, and then you cherry pick the 3 pieces that you want for the best skills for your build, and you make this like combination, right? Whereas now it's just like you just purely go for the skills because their set bonuses aren't really a thing anymore. So I hope we see set bonuses back with hopefully powerful effects that are interesting and unique. Because I've talked about this before, but the Seregios armor bonus and the set bonuses I always really loved from Gen, like the rolling to get sharpness or the rolling to like reload your bowguns and that kind of stuff. And I just want to see more stuff like that, more like unique bonuses.
Yeah, man, that would completely change the game. And it's like kind of disappointing the fact that like Dual Blade seems to be the only one that's got like a really unique like ramp skill on it. Like Hellion, we spoke about it in your video the other day, and the fact that like I even found out about Hellion and I was just like, why is this skill only exclusive to one single weapon? Like, we need more of this. Like, why was this not like hair on like the longsword, and it could be something that boosted like your Helmbreaker damage or your Sakura slash, so you've got even more ways to play. So
So one of the coolest skills in the whole ramp-up skills in the whole game, like 100% crit chance for double sharpness loss. Like that is a cool skill.
It completely changes the way that you can build your sets as well. Like, so you can essentially go in and have completely different flavors. And if in each individual weapon like had something similar to that, it will be awesome. But it's on some random like paw print feline weapon
like just the
on
one
just the
dual
Dual
blades.
Blades. It's like, what is going on here?
Brutal Strikes is cool as well, but it's not as cool as the Hellion mode, so,
Yeah. But I think that's like my main gripes. It basically comes down to difficulty, where it's like things are not necessarily... There isn't necessarily anything super hard for like players to get to grips with. Hopefully they change that in the game. I wasn't expecting G-rank monsters, but maybe this time they would have known that the player base has got even more mature and added in one kind of really hard monster for someone to like fight. They literally did that for Magdemaldo in the demo. They're like, oh, here's a really hard monster for you to get clapped by, but they didn't come to that presumption that maybe we want something like that in the main game at launch to go against or something like that. But
and it could be a purely optional thing.
Yeah,
like, if they added in like the juiced up Magdemallo, but you get like a few more drops at the end or something, so it's like worth doing, then that would be cool, and people can be like, oh, I'm not ready for that, I'll do the regular version.
Yeah, just for
I guess that's what G rank is, which will probably be coming in the future, but it would be nice to break the trend, right? Yeah. Break the trend, give us harder stuff sooner,
Yeah. It's definitely something that, if the trend was broken, now was probably one of the times to do it as well, especially with people like speed running and stuff like that. I would want to see the speedrunners get their time to shine as well, like give them a focus, give them some way of like resetting quests that they can go into and going into like things that are like hard lock spawns, so they can do their thing as well. But they haven't really adapted to how the community's matured as well. Like, there's different things and they need to cater to kind of more of a subset of the community that is definitely super like hardcore and running their game, the real grinding it out type speedrunners and stuff like that. So yeah, there are issues with the game obviously, but again, we love it and we've been enjoying it, and I can't wait to play more of it. I hope this update is banging. We'll probably come back and do another one of these videos in the future for you guys, going over that stuff, and we'll probably do one after the update comes out being like, what did we love? And then we'll do another one was like, what did we dislike? And we'll do videos like this in the future. If you did enjoy this, that's us just kind of just ragging on the game and
just chatting
about stuff and talking about stuff,
I hope really people don't think that we hate the game now. Like, this is like one of our favorite games.
Paradise is so scared that people would think that we hate the game. Like, we don't hate the game, obviously. Listen to what we're saying, because people come in with like and have an open mind. People come in with a presumption of what we're trying to say, like, you guys hate the game because the title of the video is in a specific way, or you guys have to like the game because you've played it, or you have to like the game because it's your job. No, listen to what we're saying. Don't come in with your this closed-minded about it. Try to listen to what we say and take that on board before you leave something in the comments. But I want to know what you guys are thinking, what you guys are feeling, what you guys are hoping for in the update, and all of that. Your guys' opinions are super important to me, so definitely drop that in it. If this video goes down the drain and there's a million different dislikes on it, then you'll never see one of these ever again. This is kind of like an experiment. Yeah. Can I trust you guys? Can I trust you guys to be cultured and like actually listen to what we're trying to say, and just kind of just have a little vibe back in the comments? Or are you guys just going to go off the rails and be like, these guys, they hate Monster Hunter? So yeah, that was a test for you. But Paradise, what are you doing for your video today?
We're deep diving, investigating another skill. Last time we did Counter-Strike. This time we're going to do Jump Master. There's a lot of misinformation and mystery and confusion about the skill, and I wanted to put my hours of testing it out there so that people sort of know what's up with the skill, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. We've got a whole bunch of videos to get through and stuff like that. If there's anything in particular that you guys want to see, then definitely let me know. Thanks for all the subs. We passed 9,000. We're so close to 10k. 10k is huge for me, man.
If we get to 10k for the next... Guys, everyone subscribe. 10k for the next video. Come on, guys.
Yeah, 10k for the next video. I bet everybody's going to be saying allow it as well now, like, because I said allow it in the video. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with another video for you guys. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.